Welcome to Music She Missed, the podcast where I try to get my best friend caught up in some of the most popular songs and artists that impact our lives. I'm Alison.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have and I will fulfill the title of this podcast, and I've missed all the music.
That's exactly right. Rachel, you do embody the concept of missing music entirely.
But I do it so gracefully and so beautifully.
And that's what this show is all about, is getting you caught up, helping you discover the songs that most people in America are at least passingly familiar with.
Yes, and you're just so awesome and a great friend that likes to teach me about it with lots of love.
That's sweet of you. I do love to teach. Today, my question for you is going to sound like it's not related to music at all.
Okay.
What do you think about The Lord of the Rings?
I like The Lord of the Rings very much so. I like actually the books more than I like the movies.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. I mean, the movies are fun.
Yes, but the books, you can sink into them.
Yeah. Do you associate more with elves or with hobbits?
I think that's a really hard question to answer because there's moments that I relate to both. So there's not one answer I can give you. So it's both of them, but I guess hobbits a little bit more.
Yeah, hobbits all the way for me.
And plus they just have such cute feet.
They're hairy.
I know.
Hairy feet. Ew.
I know. Hairy feet and all. What in the world does this have to do with music?
Okay. So for our new listeners that don't know, every week I reveal to you a band or an artist that you're going to learn about.
Yes.
And this week's band were really big fans of Lord of the Rings and put Lord of the Rings references in their songs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Well, do you want to do the big reveal?
I do. I'm very, very excited about this.
All right,
Here we go.
Let's do the drum roll. It's Led Zeppelin.
I have no... Wow, he's a Hobbit fan.
Okay.
Really?
Well, yeah, so let's talk about...
I thought he was... I didn't know he was just... Okay.
Well, first of all, you're using Led Zeppelin like it's someone's name. And it's the name of the band. It's not a person.
Really? I thought his name was just Led and his last name was Zeppelin.
What terrible parents he would have had.
I didn't know. Well, we've got people... I don't know.
No.
Really, it's not just one person. I thought he was a guitarist.
So Led Zeppelin is a band, and in that band there's a guitarist. So you already know guitarist, so that's a good start.
Okay.
Tell me, what do you know about Led Zeppelin, if anything? You can give me a time frame, music style.
What I did learn 10 seconds ago, that it's not just one person.
Okay.
So I think they're pretty famous for the guitar riffs.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Loud.
Classic rock. Mm-hmm. This is way more than I thought you were going to know.
Old people like them?
Hey, I'm not old.
No, but...
It's classic rock.
Like these people... Do bikers like this kind of music?
I'm not a biker.
No, you're not.
How about this? I'll list some songs.
Okay.
And you just tell me, yes, you've heard of it before, or no, pass.
Okay.
Okay? Whole Lotta Love.
Pass.
Immigrant Song.
Pass.
Misty Mountain Hop.
Pass.
Cashmere.
Pass.
Okay, this is the big one. Stairway to Heaven.
I think I've heard that one.
Like,
but
you've heard the song?
I think I know what the title of the song is, but that's about it. I could not do a hum to it.
Okay.
It would be nothing of a hum.
That's okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, we're going to rate your familiarity with Led Zeppelin. 1 being you've never heard of them before, and 10 being they're your favorite band in the world. Where would you rate your current familiarity?
So you're saying 1 thinking that he was just one person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it's more of a 1, maybe, 1.5, because now I've learned that.
So 1.5.
Correct.
I think that is a very accurate assessment. Though you did know they were classic rock, but I think 1.5 is good.
Yeah.
That sounds like an accurate rating for me.
Sounds good.
Okay, so for our new listeners, here's what's going to happen next. I'm going to give you a Spotify playlist, which our audience can listen along at
Yes, they can.
Spotify:/music she missed, and then you're going to have homework.
I am. Our Spotify playlists usually consist of about 1 hour's worth of music.
I have a little caveat for this week, though, because Led Zeppelin songs are really long.
Oh.
And Stairway to Heaven, the most famous song, is 8 minutes long. So it's an hour, 9 minutes.
Okay.
Because
that's fine.
you can't leave out Stairway to Heaven.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. It's an hour, 9.
Then now knowing that Stairway to Heaven is like 8-9 minutes, I guarantee you I've never heard of it. So now that you've said it that way, I'm gonna have to take a pass on that song.
Okay. So you'll listen to that playlist, and we'll come back together in a week. We'll talk about what you liked, what you didn't like, and you'll learn a little bit more about the history of Led Zeppelin.
I'm excited to listen to Led Zeppelin, and I'll see you in a week.
And audience, we'll be back with you in just a moment. Welcome back. Rachel, you spent the last week listening to Led Zeppelin. How'd it go?
It went really good. I was kind of a little nervous because I've never really listened to Led Zeppelin before. And
Right.
I learned that it definitely is not one person. It is a very musical, talented group.
Yeah.
And I actually had a lot of fun this week. So I have a little bit of curiosity here on just the background of why is Led Zeppelin Led Zeppelin?
Okay, well, originally they weren't called Led Zeppelin.
Really?
Yeah, they were called the New Yardbirds.
Yeah, my vote is Led Zeppelin. I like the name Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, they were a band, they were Led Zeppelin from 1968 until 1980. And there's four guys in the band.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Page, the guitarist, and he was also the writer for most of their music. Robert Plant, the singer. John Paul Jones, who did bass and keyboard. And John Bonham, who was the drummer.
So who is the main guy?
Well, Robert Plant and Jimmy Page together, whether you think main is guitar or voice.
Those were the basic front faces.
Yeah, I would say so. But all four of the members were vital to the band, which is why when John Bonham died in 1980, the band dissolved. They didn't replace him. So that's how Led Zeppelin ended.
Oh, what happened to him?
So the band was really known for partying a lot,
Did
wild
he party
stuff.
way too much?
Yeah, he basically drank too much and asphyxiated on his own vomit.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I didn't know he died. And that's why it ended.
Yeah.
Was it pretty public of why, they didn't, hide it or anything? They just said,
No, of course not. They're just, they were really close and everybody was grieving, and how could they go on as a band without their drummer,
So they don't do anything anymore. What do the guys do now? Wait, are they still alive?
Yeah, so the other three guys are still alive, and they have done a few things since the breakup of the band.
But they don't do anything as Led Zeppelin themselves.
No.
But they'll work on maybe some stuff too of collaboration with who and what?
Yeah, so they have done a few reunions throughout the years for Live Aid and other events. They also collaborated in the late 90s with Puff Daddy. Do you know who that is?
No, but I feel like I know his name, and that's about it. And he likes Powerpuff Girls. No.
What? No. So anyway, he's a rapper from the 90s.
Wait, a rapper collaborated with Led Zeppelin?
Yeah, which sounds weird, but what they did was he loved the track Kashmir, that really rocking track, and he got permission from Led Zeppelin to use it with his song, which is called Come With Me. And they performed it live on Saturday Night Live, so Puff Daddy and the members of Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
So there's a few things, but really they're not doing a lot of individual work.
So they work with Puff Daddy. Who else do they work with?
Well, they haven't worked with a lot of other people, but they do have a great legacy of the bands that they've influenced, and they were also influenced by. So which one do you want to talk about first? The precursors or their legacy.
Let's do pre.
Okay. So you probably heard in the songs that there's a heavy blues influence.
Yes.
Yeah. So, for example, Muddy Waters, he's the origin of the Rolling Stones name and the name of the magazine.
Yes.
But Muddy Waters, a famous blues musician, would be one example. But not just American blues. They were also heavily influenced by British folk music and like Celtic music.
Really?
Which you can hear
Yeah,
in
I
some
can
of the
see that
more
now.
acoustic songs,
So
right?
cool.
Yeah, and that's really most obvious on their third album, Led Zeppelin 3.
Cool. So you talked about the pre. I want to understand a little bit about how they have influenced other people.
Yeah, so they were contemporaries with Black Sabbath. Led Zeppelin is kind of like the grandfather of heavy metal, which you might also be able to hear a little bit in songs like Kashmir with a real heavy sound.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so Black Sabbath, which is like a metal band, they were contemporaries, but they also influenced bands like Queen, progressive rock bands like Rush, other rock bands like Aerosmith. They've influenced punk, they influenced alternative, including bands like Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Pearl Jam. They're very influential in rock music, and most rock musicians and guitarists are very look to Jimmy Page as like an icon.
So pretty much of a guarantee he's in that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes, I'm certain that they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In fact, many of their albums are some of the best albums of all time.
Really?
Definitely.
That's so cool.
Yeah, my favorite is Led Zeppelin 2, but the most popular one I think is Led Zeppelin 1, which is really based in blues.
I could hear that.
Yeah.
I really like in your Spotify when you made the playlist that you put it like in
Yes.
chronological order, and I'm just like hearing the development of the band, and I'm just hearing how well they just kind of really mesh well together. I really like that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you can hear towards the end of the playlist them kind of move as they move toward the 80s, the kind of more synthesized sound.
Yes, where the very, I think it sounds a little European. Maybe?
Well,
maybe
they're
the UK stuff.
well, they are from there.
Yeah.
So that would have something to do with it. So we talked a little bit in our first half about the Lord of the Rings influences. But they also were very influenced by kind of like occult references, which caused some people to say that maybe they're satanic or they're worshiping the devil. One televangelist said that if you play Stairway to Heaven backwards, you will hear evil messages. Have you ever heard that about people playing records backwards and hearing satanic messages?
I think you've mentioned it once or twice, but I don't have a record player, let alone any records. That's what they're called. So I have never tried it.
Yeah. But they're not devil worshippers. In fact, like in the 70s in England, nature and like Wicca, Stonehenge, pre-Christian kind of stuff was very popular. And it was not just Led Zeppelin, but lots of people were interested in those topics.
Okay, so I wasn't listening to satanic music for a week. Thank you.
No.
Thank you, Alison. I appreciate that.
I just wanted to let you know that. And maybe, maybe this is a good time for you to talk about the songs that you didn't like. Because
yeah, there are some on the list that you mentioned Stairway to Heaven, and I was kind of hoping I would like it, but it was really, I know this sounds weird of a criticizing comment, but it was too long for me.
Well,
like, it just did too much, and I wanted...
But it's like two different songs. It has like a first half that's like the
that's why I was
quiet...
like, split the song in half. Be 2 4-minute songs.
Okay.
I just didn't like that. I didn't prefer it. It's not that I didn't like it, because I did value the music that I was listening to, and the guitar part. Wow. Talent. And I think I really like Led Zeppelin in general of the guitar stuff, because I really appreciated that stuff.
Well, that's definitely what they're famous for, but you're not alone in not liking Stairway to Heaven.
Really?
Because Robert Plant is quoted as disliking it as well.
Really?
Yes, he might just be tired of it from like singing it every night, because it is
Oh.
their biggest hits. Um,
Interesting that he would say that. Wow, I'm kind of shocked. Interesting. I'm learning so much.
Denied. Okay.
Are you denying me?
No, it's a quote from Wayne's World where he's shopping for a guitar and he starts to play Stairway to Heaven. And there's a sign that says, "No Stairway to Heaven." And he says, "No stairway, denied."
Okay.
You haven't seen Wayne's World?
I have. It's just I don't memorize specific those kind of movies, I guess.
Okay. So what song did you like?
I liked Rain to a point.
The Rain song.
Yes. To a point where I actually put it on repeat.
On repeat.
I
Wow.
know. Not only listening to it, but on repeat. I honestly really liked how it started off with the music itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I listened to it just as the music and didn't look up the lyrics.
Okay.
But
It's a
then-
very peaceful sounding song.
is.
And it is, fun fact, one of the first times synthesizers were used. And that's not a real orchestra. It's like a synthesized orchestra that you hear.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the first kind of stanza.
Okay.
It is the springtime of my loving, the second season I am known. You are the sunlight in my growing, so little warmth I've felt before. It isn't hard to feel me glowing. I watch the fire that grew so low. I love that. It sounded so poetic. And with how just the music alone, just really very heartfelt. I like it. I want to know what it means though.
Well, I want to ask you what you think the song's about. And you don't have to read all 4 stanzas, but if you're looking at them, what is your impression of the song?
Well, so the rain kind of is something for seasons and seasons in life, I think, and
Yeah.
how the rain is very a consistent thing in each season, but it means different things in different parts of the seasons of life. I don't know.
That's an interesting interpretation.
Am I even close?
Well, I don't know if there's always a right way to interpret songs.
okay.
So when you look at it, it starts with springtime, but he talks about how the love was low, right? And in the 3rd verse, he talks about winter and that kind of dark time. But this is not a woman that he lost, but like a long-term relationship that has seasons that cycle through, right? So you have some times that are, you feel very in love and it's spring, and sometimes that are difficult. And, both of us being married, we know
The good times, bad times,
That's
for
how it
better,
goes.
for worse.
And it ends with, with rain falls on all of us, because there are hard times that we all have to face, but the torch of love can help you get through the rain. And even if the rain like puts out the fire, it can be rekindled, So I think it's like a really nice story of enduring love through difficult times.
I like that.
But that's my interpretation.
I like the song also not only because seasons, the lyrics, the music, but also it just brought me to a good place for me. It reminded me when I lived in Europe, and I lived in a place where practically rained every day, like if you're in Seattle.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And I love rain. I love rain.
Then that's the perfect song
and so
for
it
you.
really was a personal thing. It was like the music thing, the lyrics thing. And so this song really did a slam dunk.
That's great. I'm glad you connected with it. An interesting fact about this song to me is that George Harrison of the Beatles was part of the inspiration for this song.
Really?
Yeah, George wrote a lot of ballads for the Beatles, a lot of love songs. And he commented to the drummer that you guys never write any ballads. Why don't you write any love songs? So they wrote this song, and the first 2 chords in the song are kind of taken from George Harrison's song Something, which is a Beatles song. And if you listen to those 2 songs as the same chords, they're doing it like as an homage
Oh my goodness.
to him.
This makes me want to listen to that song, the Puff Daddy song. I think there's going to be a lot coming from this Led Zeppelin week that I'm very encouraged by.
That's good. And Led Zeppelin's going to pop back up over and over again.
Good.
Because they're so influential.
Influential.
Yeah.
So I like Rain.
The Rain song.
Yes, the Rain song. What do you like?
So one of my I have many favorite Led Zeppelin songs. But my favorite one, I think, is Whole Lotta Love, which is the opening track on Led Zeppelin 2.
Really?
That's the one I asked you to listen to with your headphones in,
Yes.
so you could hear the sound
Go
in
in and
mono
out.
going back and, or in stereo going back and forth.
Yes, and I also did it completely in the dark.
It was
And
kind of trippy,
it
right?
was. And so I waited for the sun to go down, and I wanted the house to be completely quiet, put the
Mm-hmm.
headphones in, closed my eyes even, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, ooh, wow, that was really interesting that they could do that much talent.
Yeah, that song is really creative. But one of the things that I learned about it while I was researching for this episode was that the little part that's very quiet and it's just Robert Plant singing and it's like way down inside and then you hear the echo way down inside, woman, woman, you need me.
Yeah.
You know that part? So basically they had recorded him singing on one track, but then he did a different master vocal track. And because remember, this is like the late 60s, early 70s, so music recording technology is not what it is now. And they tried to turn the volume all the way down on that second vocal track, and they couldn't get it all the way through. So they added a lot of like echo and reverb to it so it would sound not like an accident, but like an intentional echo and replay.
Very artistic.
It
That
just
is beautiful.
that was a really fun surprise for me to learn about a song that I've been listening to my whole life. So, are there any other songs on the playlist that you particularly enjoyed?
Yeah, I really liked Going to California.
Really? What did you like about that song?
Not so much the music,
Oh,
but
okay.
I liked the lyrics.
Okay.
So the lyrics really kind of were very cool to understand his emotions,
Mm-hmm.
his just his thoughts. I liked how we didn't have to guess with him. Some of the lyrics that kind of really made me really enjoy the song more.
Mm-hmm.
I'll meet you up there where the path runs straight and high to find a queen without a king.
Hmm.
I like that. That was cool.
Well, I'm glad that you like that song. My good friend Aaron, who has guest hosted our show before, requested that I put that song on there just for you because he thought you would like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny that I kind of pulled that song out.
Yeah.
It's so
So,
cool.
thank
Awesome.
you, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
Anyway,
So Led Zeppelin's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
yes.
but did they get any awards or anything beyond that?
Well, actually, while they were a band, they sold a lot of albums, okay?
Okay.
They sold out stadiums. Like they were giantly popular on tour and albums, but they didn't get any Grammys or any kind of like music awards like that while they were an active band at all.
Oh.
But in 2005, they got a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, so they did get awards, but after the drummer passed away.
Yeah, way after.
Yeah, way.
And they
after.
were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995.
Wow. Okay.
So even though they weren't critically acclaimed by the mainstream music groups at the time,
But they sold out a lot of concerts and
Right.
tours and things like that. That means a lot.
well, they were extremely popular and they were extremely influential. So now looking back, everybody says, wow, Led Zeppelin's one of the greatest bands of all time,
Mm-hmm.
even if they weren't recognized as that at the time.
Yeah. And I knew, like, at the beginning of this week, as I was getting to know this band, I knew of the name, but I've never really listened to this music until this week.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was kind of very interesting of how popular they are
Yeah.
and influential, because I never knew how much they influenced so many other people.
Yeah, they're
It's
one
very
of my
interesting.
favorites for sure. So, we've talked about the history, the songs you liked, you didn't like, their influences.
I'm ready to do a rating.
Let's rate it. 1 is
do.
you want to throw it in the garbage, 10 is they're your new favorite band.
So I can't give it a 10. Can't give it a 1.
That's good.
I actually thought a little bit about this rating, and it's not an even number. It's a 5.5.
So, trending towards positive.
It was a positive week, and I'm looking forward to more.
Well, if you, our audience, want to continue to follow Rachel's journey as she hears more of the greatest bands and artists of all time, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter.
And give us a review on iTunes.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
You can also, of course, follow us on Spotify to see all the latest playlists and what's coming up next. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your week.
Bye.
Bye.